It's almost dinner time. We're just doing a little afternoon romp. Let's go. Let's go, girls. Ready? Let's go back up the hill. I can't go up that hill. So we're getting ready to go. We have everything loaded up. Mike is folding up the tarp that we use, or I use. And truck is all ready. And the girls, we're all doing the kumbaya stuff. I sold my house in Alaska to travel the country in my RV. My cousin Suzanne, along for the ride, and myself, left Anchorage in June of 2022, traveling north, picking up the Alaska Highway in Tok, Alaska, crossing the Canadian border in Beaver Creek to adventure across Canada through the Canadian Rockies, Banff National Park, and to other points south. This is our trip. This morning we are waking up at Eagle Trail State Recreation Park. We drove all the way from Anchorage yesterday. Whew, the mosquitoes are really bad this morning here. But we found this little nice campground. We're outside of Tok. I'm not really sure, maybe 10 miles. And we're getting ready to hit the road. We're hoping to cross the border today, later on this afternoon, and the border into Canada. So we'll see how that goes. In our first few days, we stopped and viewed the Matanuska Glacier from the road, saw the impressive Mount Drum on the way to Glen Allen, endured some crazy frost heaves and potholes, crossed into Canada uneventfully, and stopped at Kluane Lake for a dip. Just kidding. Along the way, we stayed in some beautiful Alaska state parks and Canadian provincial parks. So this morning, we're leaving from a campground that's about 60 miles from Destruction Bay. So once we get to Destruction Bay, hopefully the road will get much, much better. It's been a rough ride. We had a spilled refrigerator last night, but fortunately, not too much else. So yeah, it was a really rough road yesterday. So here's our campsite over there. There we go. There's Suzanne with the cat. She's got Novocaine out in the sun this morning for a walk. Come on, Maddie.
You know what we should get your leash.
The adventure cat or not.
Oh wait, there's green grass over here.
Getting ready to go. We continued along, hoping that we'd see some wildlife along the way. After all, we're traveling where the wilds roam. So far, just a couple of bear from a distance and some smaller residents crossing the road. At this point, we were past Destruction Bay, on our way to Haines Junction, Watson Lake, and Liard Hot Springs. The road had definitely gotten better. Stay here. Stay here. She's like, oh, it's you. It's you. Oh,
yes,
okay.
It is me, but stop. I don't want
We're on our way to the Liard Hot Springs. We're walking on the boardwalk to the springs, and I don't really want to step off into this icky stuff. Waiting in the hot springs in Liard Hot Springs. Hello. So we're opting for the cooler parts of the pool today because it's quite warm out. We made it to Watson Lake so far today. We are going to check out the signpost forest and see what kind of interesting things we find. The Watson Lake Signpost Forest is the oldest and most extensive site of its type. Carl Lindley started the Signpost Forest in 1942 when he was a homesick soldier from Danville, Illinois. While working on the construction of the Alaska Highway, he added his hometown sign to a mileage post. The tradition of adding signs gained momentum and the single signpost grew into a forest. As we continued our travels, we drove past Muncho Lake in British Columbia. The Alaska Highway runs within feet of the lake in many places, which was a bit scary at times. The lake is 7.5 miles long with a depth of 732 feet. The lake gets its jade green color from the presence of copper oxide leached from the bedrock beneath. As we drove along the edges of the lake, it was hard not to wonder how many lives were lost in the construction of this part of the Alaska Highway. We finally saw some elk and wood bison as we strolled into Dawson Creek, the end of the Alaska Highway for us, but technically mile 0, the beginning of the Alaska Highway. We had driven about 1,600 miles or roughly 2,500 kilometers from Anchorage at this point. After some celebratory pictures in front of the world-famous sign, we headed for Prince George and on to Jasper National Park and the Icefields Parkway to Lake Louise National Park. We were surprised to see so many wood sculptures along the road as we passed through Hope, BC. The Hope World-Class Chainsaw Carving Competition takes place over 4 days at the end of August, where artists turn a log of wood into an incredible piece of art. The vast majority of these sculptures are kept and displayed around town. We are out here on the Icefields Parkway. I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at, but it's pretty spectacular. There's Suze taking pictures because the glaciers are behind me. She's gonna make an orange. The Icefields Parkway was an amazing drive. Our time spent in Lake Louise included a short hike to Mirror Lake, escaping the crowds, then did a little sightseeing in Banff before hitting the road south. Till next time, when I hit the road and cross the border back into the US. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe.